Sure. I'll talk it out.
Yeah, let's just have a conversation.
Track 3.
Better not be fucking Dave Matthews Band.
Okay. Those of you who don't want to be a part of this can leave now.
Derek, please listen to me.
But if you choose to stay, which it seems like you guys are choosing...
Derek, please.
You understand and agree to the following terms and conditions.
Derek!
1.
Derek, this is the virus.
You hereby waive your right
Derek, please.
to your own personal bodily integrity.
This is not you.
2.
I'm a license.
Per the state versus Neville Reed, my colleague and I will not be held criminally liable for any felony or misdemeanor that you may be a victim of, including, but not limited to, aggravated assault, aggravated battery, disorderly conduct, destruction of property, mayhem, and first-degree murder. And 3, terms and conditions may change or be updated whenever the fuck I want! Consider yourselves notified.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up. I got news for you, pal. You ain't leading but 2 things right now. Jack and shit. Jack left town. Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
What was that ruckus? What ruckus? I was just in my office and I heard a ruckus.
Describe the ruckus, sir.
Does this mean we're not friends anymore? Not me. I'm in my prime.
Hey, Mike. Ain't it cool?
First you want to kill me, now you want to kiss me. Blow. Good. Bad. I'm the guy with the gun.
What's up, everyone? DJ Anubis here with you on the Meltdown Radio podcast, here with my good friend and fellow content creator, Gojira851. Thank you for being here, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Yep. And we are here tonight to talk a little bit about Devil May Cry, the new Netflix animated series that just popped up. And I played the first game. I was talking with Gojira behind the scenes that I only played the first game way back in the day when it first came out. Loved it. But, you know, I'd kind of forgotten what it was about, but I knew that they were still making sequels to the games and all that. But before we dive too much into the game history as well as the series itself, because a little bit problematic, but it has a lot of cool things about it as well. So we're going to get into a lot of that. But let's check out the trailer for Devil May Cry.
This, gentleman, is your primary objective. He's a top-level threat. Engage him with the full brunt of your firepower.
I work better with music.
Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort.
Here we stand on the threshold of a new age. The age of the demon.
My army is about to descend on this city, causing unimaginable death. Unless Dante comes to meet us first.
Me against an entire army. Sounds easy enough. Let's dance.
Yeah, damn, he's cool. Yeah.
I know better than to trust the demon. Death and destruction is the core of your nature.
I know all about demons' nature. I'm not one of them. Ripped and irresistible dreamboat, I know. You still can't just tear a guy's clothes off.
This world's reckoning is already in motion. All you can do is ease its passing.
Dante, leaving so soon? We have much to catch up on, brother.
There you go. Devil May Cry on Netflix right now. Now, as I said, I only really know and I'm familiar with the first game, even though I don't really remember the plot of the game. It's been so long, but my good friend here has a good understanding of the lore of Devil May Cry and the games themselves. So, do you want to talk about the games first, or do you want to just kind of give everybody an idea what this season 1 was about for Devil May Cry?
Well, the games, Dante is one of the sons of Sparta, not the place in Greece, but the demon knight Sparta with a D, and yep, that's him. And on the left is his character model from the first, well, not really, in the earliest point of the series, Devil May Cry 3. Where on the right is the adaptation from the Netflix show. And he is one of the sons, and he is a demon hunter in our world. And Jedi Granville, nice. What's up, brother? And he hunts demons. As a child, he and his twin brother Virgil are living with his mother, and they're not living with their father Sparta, unfortunately, anymore. He's no longer in the picture, and they're waiting for him to come back into their life. He's with demons, they're able to, live a long time, which we'll find out later in this series and in the games, which we haven't seen him in the games yet. Hopefully sometime in the future we will see him, but, we'll get to that some other time. But then the family is attacked one night by demons. The mother is slain, Dante gets away, and Virgil is killed. Or is he? That's kind of left up to interpretation, especially in the show and in the games, or in the Devil May Cry 3, which is the earliest point of the timeline. Yep, that's the guy right there. He actually is one of the antagonists. He's not the main antagonist. He just wants more power to be more. It's actually the best thing about, I would say, for Virgil is he's not really the antagonist. He's actually a victim of all of this as well, because the main antagonist of the Devil May Cry series, at least my opinion is the character Mundus, or Mundus, as they've changed him to. Mundus is the demon king of Hell, where they've tried to change that. We'll get into that, which he's the main villain of the franchise. Now, other demons have come after him, but Mundus is the guy, pretty much, or the main demon. And the demon knight Sparta actually creates a barrier to stop Mundus from coming into the human world and conquering it. That was his ultimate sacrifice. And with that, he creates it with his sword and these 2 amulets, which he breaks up and gives to his children, which she then passes to the mother. That's why the demons attack and they kill her, and then splits up the family pretty much. Now, the games kind of have a odd timeline. We're introduced to Dante in the first game, but that's not the first in the actual timeline. That's actually much in the midpoint. Then there's the second game, which is supposed to take place after the first one, but now it's debated where that one is. Then we have the third game, which is the first game. Then we have the fourth game, which comes after the second game, and then we have the fifth game. So yeah, it's a fun franchise, but then it gets kind of messy.
Out of order.
Yeah, it's out of order, but they're all worth playing. Then we have the remake, which I said off stream is a fun game to play. Yes, I'm saying that it is a fun game to play, but I wish it wasn't called Devil May Cry. So there. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So,
my that's my very honest opinion of the game.
all right, cool. Very cool. So yeah, I was telling you that, before I had a chance to sit down and watch this, we talked about last night how if we watch it, we review it, but I had saw people on X, complaining about the series and very unhappy. And I actually, before even watching it, was defending it. And I still kind of would defend it because I think that sometimes people make it a bit more complicated when it comes to their grievances than they should. I mean, I know there's a lot of diehards that love Devil May Cry and then like they want it to be a certain way. Like, and on some level, I kind of agree. I mean, I saw some things in the series that I thought, oh, you're being so obvious. Like, it's like, come on, just stop. But that's the world we live in, man. That's sort of where entertainment's kind of gone on some of these shows and movies where you can't help but see some of the politics of modern day that we're dealing with in real life filtered through to this stuff. So, but for the most part, from what I can understand, the series still kind of follows the plot of what the original games played. I mean, we still have demons trying to come into our world in the real life. Mundus is still behind that, and then of course we get introduced to the White Rabbit. And this was a very interesting character. So if you want, you can go and break down what he is all about.
So the fun thing is with Devil May Cry, it's actually branched off into other forms of media as well. It's also been in other games. Dante's actually showed up in other games. Beautiful Joe, actually, it was actually a PlayStation 2 game for a little bit. He's also been in manga as well. Devil May Cry 3 there was actually a prequel manga series before Devil May Cry 3 came out, where actually we could see, Virgil go on his, journey before the Temenegru was actually resurrected and actually brought to the human world, which, we can get into that later if you'd like to. But the White Rabbit was actually a character in that. He had a much smaller role in that, but not as he is in this. And which is the story starts off in Vatican City, where a group of mercenaries are actually sent to steal trinkets. And I'm calling them trinkets compared to the actual main course. At least main course for me because I love swords. But it's funny because they're stealing all these trinkets, and he's like, "Oh, this is awkward." Which, it's, okay, I love the writing of this. Yeah, it's kind of. You can tell someone who really likes Deadpool wrote this. I mean, I love Adi Shankar. I'm going to make a couple little jokes here because there's a lot of jokes in this. So I'm going to make a couple jokes of my own. But you can tell someone who really likes Deadpool wrote this. And he says, "Oh, leave it to some Americans to break in and shoot first and ask questions later." It's like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I see where you're going with this. I can see what you're doing. Okay.
If I could just slip that shit in there. Like, we see what you're doing. We see what you're doing.
Okay, so the White Rabbit's actually like, "Oh, but I'm the one that called you." It's like, you're picking on them for something you told them to do. And then you joke about it for having them do the thing you told them to do. It's like, Okay, so anyway, he's there to steal the Force Edge. There you go. Force Edge is actually Sparta's sword. That's the sword that he used to fight off the demons in Hell. And yes, it's Hell. Okay, and that's what he used to actually create the barrier as well to actually, well, that's part of what he used. There's actually another weapon called the Yamato. Yamato, we'll get into Yamato later, which is actually my favorite weapon from the entire Devil May Cry series, which he gives to his other son. But yeah, we'll get to that later. So, yes. Anyway, but that's actually its base form. When it's in the hands of Sparta and with the complete version of it, it creates a completely different weapon that turns into a scythe and does a whole bunch of other stuff and a bunch of other cool stuff and interacts with Dante and Virgil in a certain way. So, but anyway, with that weapon, it's actually real cool. And the really cool thing about Force Edge in this, and I love that the animators, bet Adi Shankar did this. It's not a freaking boat oar in this. Okay, where the game Devil May Cry 1, all the swords acted the same. It all had the exact same combos, and they all pretty much swung like a big ass boat oar. In this, he's swinging it around almost like a rapier. It's kind of like, and please don't take this as a bad thing. It's like the original Star Wars trilogy. The lightsabers were really heavy and very, they're supposed to be like Excalibur. I believe that's how George Lucas wanted to show them off. Massive, huge weapons you need your entire body to really swing with. Where in the prequels, he wanted faster and more, dynamic fight sequences. Where over the time of Devil May Cry, in the first game, they were like these massive weapons. Yes, they're much slower, like boat oars. Where in later games, yes, they got a lot faster and a lot more dynamic with their combos and everything, which I'm very appreciative. And in this sequence where it shows the White Rabbit, swinging this thing around, he was using like a broadsword as like a rapier, and I love it. Great stuff.
Yeah, and so obviously, he's paid these mercenaries, but now he's, he was going to pay them, but like then they kind of got greedy, and he ends up wiping them out. And of course, they're recording this because they've got all their military gear on, and so we find out that they actually, despite being hired, do work for the vice president here, who is the one that's kind of running this show where he's using religion, Christianity, to try to stamp out, demons and stuff, because they're realizing they're being invaded by what they call it, demon terrorists, as to how they looked at it and labeled it. The other funny thing is we don't really have a picture of it, but there's a DJ early in the first episode that's supposedly a conspiracy theorist. And one of the things I saw recently was, if nobody knows who Asmongold is, he's a YouTuber, been around, plays games a lot, and talks a lot of politics and stuff. Supposedly, it was kind of modeled after him because it looks a lot like him, just with a few different subtle changes. And apparently, the director made a comment laughing about it. So I think it was like a nod to him. Yeah. But for him, the haters were like, he's making fun of you. But the reality is the conspiracy theorist DJ was calling it correctly. Everybody thought he was crazy when he says it was demons, and they turns out to be demons. So he turns out to be right anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've got this vice president who, he's got this group of military people, special units of demon hunters, and they're led by Mary. And now the left, of course, I'm guessing is the game version, as opposed to the one on the right, which is Netflix. Now, when does she make an appearance in the game?
In Devil May Cry 3.
Okay, so she's in the third one. Okay. So yeah, she's actually quite a badass. And these guys, it kind of remind me, I don't know about you, kind of remind me a little bit of the elite special forces from Blade 2. It's like you've got these really super great, smart fighters, and they got the high tech and everything. And so that's sort of what they are. So they start rounding up all these fucking like demon hunters because they want to chase down Dante because he's got this necklace, this amulet, part of what's being sought after by the White Rabbit, as you said, to unite them with the sword, the Force Edge. And so, you've got all these demon hunters in there, and then there's one moment where one of the demon hunters has actually been disguised as a human, so she ends up beating his ass, killing him real fast.
Yep.
But yeah, we get, early on this thing, we get an idea of who Dante is. He's very flamboyant. He's very childlike in the way that he fights. Like for him, it's fun. And if he gets bored, he just moves on to something else. How did you feel when you first started watching, like how it was setting up everything?
I started to get really frustrated when they brought in the whole politics thing with it, and they started bringing up science, trying to quantify and trying to explain hell and trying to explain how demons are like the next evolution of humanity. it's supposed to be the next step. It's like, no,
Yeah.
no, you silly people. They're not the next step. Okay, they're their own thing. They've existed for thousands of years away from us, and their own thing. They're monsters trying to end us, invade us. It was a special thing that Sparta did for us.
Yep.
And his ultimate, reward was to have a wife and have his children, Dante and Virgil. However, that got screwed up by Mundus and his horde. And now we have Dante and Virgil, who is, the epic tragedy is Dante and Virgil, the brothers, now are fighting each other. That's the ultimate tragedy. But now Dante is always trying to, in a way, do what Sparta did, but then again, he hates his father in a way because he wasn't there to protect his family. But he still wants to actually live up to what he did, but in a different way. Where Virgil wants to do the same thing, but he wants to be more powerful, but for his own selfish means as well. That's what the overall tragedy is with this. So it's like, that's what it is. There's nothing about science. When they try to bring science to this and then they try to quantify it, it's like, no.
How did Virgil get separated from Dante initially?
Well, that's the thing. In the original, telling of the story, and they even showed this in the manga as well. Virgil got outside, and he was actually being attacked by demons. And they actually had a graveyard at their old house for some reason. They had a graveyard, and Virgil actually got injured, and he was actually out. And he laid underneath next to a tombstone. And he looked dead, and then for some reason he got Yamato, and he actually escaped with Yamato out into the woods, and everybody thought he was dead, but then he escaped out of the woods, and then he grew up. He trained himself. He learned the Dark Slayer style, which he moved really really fast and teleport, and he could move extremely fast, with quick cuts and everything, and just there was that. And for the longest time, everybody thought he was dead.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna dive into this a little bit because obviously, and this is where I'm gonna get some clarification with you a little bit, is it's very clear. We talked about how this series is trying to parallel modern politics, and right now we got a lot going on with the deportations, the immigrants, and everything, and how Trump is handling all this in terms of real life events. And so we have these demons. And we'll get into the backstory of the White Rabbit because that was actually the one episode that they dived into. The backstory of the rabbit was very cool. I really liked that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, the way they're trying to introduce this is that you have a portion of demons who are trying to come from the other side to escape Mundus and the terrible atrocities that he's doing against his own kind in that other plane of existence. So basically, we have some demons here on our Earth and our real time who are refugees, and they're portrayed that way. And of course, we have some instances throughout this series where the vice president and his goons are basically murdering these aliens, these demons, and treating them. But it's replicating or trying to portray an exaggeration of what's going on in our modern politics. So what I'm asking you is, does any of that stuff play into the Devil May Cry game series at all, or is it totally different than what they're portraying in this series?
It's totally different. There's actually a previous anime of Devil May Cry that's canon to the story of Devil May Cry. It came out in 2007, and that is actually a sequel to the first game, where Dante has his own detective agency, where he's actually the entire series is him protecting a little girl, and he meet Morrison, who is his handler. He actually brings him jobs, and Trish is there, Lady is there. Every episode, he fights a new demon. There's only one episode where there is one good demon, and he's actually a good guy. There's one good demon. Okay, he's not portrayed as a helpless person. He's seen doing something like he performs a miracle pretty much. He sees a flower that is broken. So he uses his powers. He has the power to heal things. That's his demonic power, is to heal things. So he fixes the flower. But he's on a date with a young woman, and then the father sees it, so he's like, "Oh, you cannot date him. He's a demon." So he hires Dante to kill him. But Dante refuses to kill him because, all right, you're the exception. You're the one good demon that is, good. I'm not going to kill you. But the reason why the father is so up in arms about this demon is because there is a demon in the city killing people. So he gets to thinking, well, how is it this way? If this demon is doing this, what is doing all the killing? There's another demon in the city killing people. So that's when Dante shows up and he kills this other demon, where this other demon, the good one, is then left to be. So that's the one episode with the one good demon. The rest of the time, they're all like monster bad guys, pretty much.
Yeah.
This show goes out of its way to do this. And it's telling a story.
Yeah.
And again, I'm a fan of Adi Shankar. I like the guy. He did the movie. He produced Dread. Okay.
Great.
And he has the bootleg universe, where he did Power/Rangers. He did a bunch of other stuff. So I don't dislike the guy, but it's kind of beaten over the head. What the story he's trying to tell. I don't hate this, but it's very obvious what he's saying. But I don't hate this, but I get it. But I get it. I get it, dude. I get it.
Yeah, I think they were very close to teetering on too much at some point. But I agree. I think for the most part, they do kind of avoid that because they do keep. It's like every time you think they're going to kind of go on this weird lecture or preachy rant about immigration and stuff, they kind of get back to basics where it's more about Dante and his battle with the white rabbits and of course the other things that come out. Like one thing I really love is this group of demons here. Like this was a nice little counter to the demon hunters that we talked about with the vice president. This is like a nice group of like very strong fucking demons. And I can't remember the guy with the purple sword, but he reminded me almost of like Voltron, the face, a little bit, which is pretty interesting. But he was a really badass demon.
That is Cavalier Angelo, and they are all from the games. They're all from different games. The blue one is Plasma, who has the ability to shapeshift into other characters. At one point, he turns into Dante. He can turn into a bat. He can turn into a monster that uses different sides. The two dudes with swords as Agni and Rudra, which is funny because they have heads. In Devil May Cry 3, they don't have heads. Their heads are actually in their swords. But when you defeat them, you actually claim their weapons, their swords, and their heads are actually in their swords. But when you defeat them, they're like, okay, I'll take you with me, but there's no more talking. So then they have to be mute for the rest of their lives, pretty much. But so there's that. And then the last one, the plant snake thing, is Echidna. That's from Devil May Cry 4.
Okay.
So and then there's a Cavalier Angelo, and he's from Devil May Cry 5, which is he's a pretty tough boss, but also fun to play as. But he's fun to fight. Not play as.
Now, I didn't catch if they had any of these, but this is what you and I were kind of talking about with the first game with the marionettes from.
Yeah,
that's what I remember.
Yeah, it's fun because the guards. I know that it's not really a callback, but the guards at the beginning of the movie, and not beginning of the show, at Vatican City, with the halberds, the way how their uniforms were set up, they kind of resembled them a little bit. But I don't know if that was intentional or if that's just the way how their uniforms were set up. I just thought that was a little fun thing.
Yeah. How did you like the way to design Dante in this? Did you think they did a pretty good job?
They pretty much got spot on, except for the hair. I think the hair. I wish they got the hair down a little more neck length, a little
Yeah,
lower.
I think it was a little bit longer at times. Now I saw this guy, but maybe I'm just not recognizing. But maybe you can clarify because I saw him for a split second, but I didn't recognize who he was.
Oh, that is Arius. He is he's the antagonist of Devil May Cry 2.
Okay.
Yeah, not a very favorable game. A lot of people, I liked it. It's not great. It's a very easy game, and he's kind of bitchy in the game. He's the guy who pretty much he's the developer and land guy of everything. Pretty much, he's like a tycoon. He wants 3 pieces of this thing so he can resurrect this being named Argosax. And Argosax is like this flame demon in another part of hell, so that he can take over the world pretty much.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously we talked about there's a lot of flashbacks with Dante and his mother, and of course Virgil, which again they're the sons of Sparta. Again we go back to like the whole theme that Abby is trying to do with his directing, where the White Rabbit is, and it's probably one of the best episodes in the series where we get his background. Like it's a regular human who I think he was an orphan and was really abused and like couldn't even get out. Like even the social worker just wouldn't save him from the volatile home life that he had.
Right.
He would read Alice in Wonderland. Of course, that's where the White Rabbit thing comes from. Hey, yeah, I hear you. So he somehow he ends up getting ported over to the other side. I forget how he got hold of the way to do that, but he crosses over and he first meets a lot of the like more scary demons that are existing in that world, but he does come across the nicer ones that were like kids and stuff like that. And we start to learn that this other side where all these demons live is actually because of Mundus and everything. It's like it's really toxic, and the landscape is just being perished, and it's even deadly to the demons themselves are being abused by Mundus, and the toxic air is not helping them. So that's one of the reasons why they are basically trying to escape over onto our world. So the White Rabbit's his whole plan is like, it's again, we're gonna go into modern politics. It's like we're going to he wants to allow these demons to come over, the good ones that he wants to save, but he knows that there's going to be bad ones that come over with it. But he feels like that's the risk we're taking. How did you like that whole setup with the White Rabbit's background and everything?
I mean, in the games, it's just not like that. I mean, especially like in Devil May Cry 3, where, you go into the different world, you go into hell pretty much, and you see these monsters and the different, hellscapes and stuff. It's like, they're not like that. It's kind of like in Rings of Power, pretty much, when they're trying to, show off like the orcs and stuff, and they're like, they have the families and stuff like, oh no, we're all like helpless. It's like,
exactly.
That's not the way it was. Like they're creating situations that's like it's different. It's like stop. Like, you don't do that. You're creating something that's extra. That's not. Yes.
Yeah, the other thing I say to Neko's question is the one thing that this reminded me of a little bit, and I didn't think about it much back when I played the game, but looking at this and how it's presented, it's almost like a Hellboy situation, sort of. Dante is sort of playing like Hellboy. He's fighting demons like his dad did, but it's not necessarily the same thing, even though for whatever reason, Dante's blood is very royal or is very important to how they can cross over anyway. So it's somewhere in process.
They're creating a different narrative that's different than what's in the games, and it's like it's like, again, I get it. I see what they're doing, and it's just, it's like I don't want to say that I hate it, but I get it, but I don't
Yeah.
really care for it as well because it's not really going along with what the games is really doing. It's
The problem is that the things that they're doing, and like in terms of how he's presenting the story of the immigrants and everything, it's not subtle. So like
exactly, yeah.
it's a bit overhanded, or heavy handed. So like therefore, as you're watching it, you're kind of just like when it happens and you're seeing like how blatant it is, you're just kind of shaking your head like, God damn it, why?
Yeah. Yeah,
Why?
exactly. Like, why are you telling it like this? It's like, come on. Like
Right.
in the games, like these things are freaking monsters, and it's like, and like the beginning of this one other game, it's like in Devil May Cry 5, like this giant plant monster. It's like literally ripping out of the ground and ripping people like apart, like in the opening sequence. And the character Nero has to like roll in while the song Devil Trigger is playing and having to like save people's lives. It's like they're not good. And it's like you're creating good demons for no reason. You're creating classes of demons that are good and bad. It's like that's just not the way it is. And if there's a piece of supplemental material if there's like a piece of material out there that they've just created to like make this all make sense, please send it my way to like make me shut up. But it's like I didn't see it. I just played the games, and it's not in the games. If Devil May Cry 6 comes out and all this makes sense, and it's like, oh, then I'll just shut my big mouth then. But as of right now, it's like it just exists in just this version.
Well,
It's
the
like,
other thing is, you're trying to insert this stuff, and so like this is a bit of a spoiler. So those that don't want to hear this can either mute it for a little bit or come back to this. But so there's comes a point where Mary, who is definitely one of the elite soldiers for the vice president, and she believes in the system, believes in what the vice president is doing, even if it's grounded in religion against demons, good versus evil.
yeah.
She has a history where she dealt with demons, and so she has this inane hatred for them. So, but as she's running from that tougher group of demons, I guess they call them classified as level 4 or whatever it is.
Right.
She gets taken in by some other demons, just regular refugee demons. This is how
Oh.
she finds out that they've been housed. Go ahead.
Real quick.
Yeah, yeah.
Didn't you get dread feelings from this entire sequence? Yeah.
I said that. Yeah. I say, uh-oh, big building, hotel, they're locked in. Here's dread.
Yeah.
Yep. And so so you have this small family of demons, and they're because she gets ready to turn the gun on them after they just protected her from being caught. And so they're explaining what's happening. Now, the part that bothers me is like, okay, you want to insert some of this? That's fine. I get it. But there comes a point where she has a change of heart, and now she understands that there is two different versions of the demons. There's the ones that aren't going to do you any harm, and there's the ones that are just downright nasty and evil. So she tells her fellow soldiers to get all the refugees out of the building and go and take them and storm away safely. Well, then we find out the vice president just ends up having the soldiers turn the guns on and kill them all. So you could have easily changed the plot a little bit to a more sensible one where that wouldn't happen. Now, maybe that's all going to set up. I mean, obviously, it's going to set up something down the road because Mary, she's just now finding out that the vice president's like an asshole. So, but the thing is like you were kind of predictable when you did that. You already just laid it out and said, yep, it's going to happen. You know it's going to happen. And it's just unfortunate because it's almost like color by numbers. I hate that. It's like, you got to mix it up, man. Like, give us something different that we are not expecting. But then it would hurt their agenda or narrative with the politics that they're trying to insert. So that's the frustrating thing about this series because, like you, for the most part, I enjoy it. It's really good. It does a lot of good animation. The blood and gore is fine. I like the characters and how they're portrayed. I actually look forward to season 2, but it's pretty painfully obvious that the insertion of the politics that they want to do is just, it's kind of annoying. It's like, I'd rather not have it that blatant. I don't care if you kind of put a little bit of in there like that, but it's so heavy handed that it's kind of annoying for the entire series, unfortunately.
Now, there's another part of an episode 1 that well, there's 2 parts. There is a long red-haired demon hunter that was captured. She's also
Hmm.
from Devil May Cry 2. Her name is Lucia, and
Isn't there
which
one named Trish too?
yeah,
Somewhere
but
in there?
she's not in the well. It's funny. She's technically not in the series, but she is based off of Dante's mother. So I guess technically you can say she's in the series, but she's not really in the series. But there's that. But I thought it was funny that Lucy is in the series, but it's also aggravating because they had her getting captured in the very first appearance of the series. Like she doesn't get any love. I hope in season 2 she gets some redemption because she hasn't gotten any love since Devil May Cry 2. She didn't get much love in that game, but she
Yeah,
needs some loving.
yeah. I
Yeah,
think that's the thing too. Since they've been kind of jumping around with these characters from different games, that we're probably going to get a little bit of mishmash of going back and forth with characters, which I'm fine with. I mean, like I said, the characters are all very interesting, and with Virgil showing up at the end, that's going to be pretty lit.
and also in the original anime, Freddy's Diner that was actually in the original anime, which they showed some love to that, and also Cindy. She was in that as well, and the Strawberry Sundae as well. That was from that as well, and lots of fun stuff. And I love the reference to, hey, Mr. Tony the Dead, what's up?
What's up, buddy?
I love the reference to Underworld, Celine shooting through the floor and getting from the floor. And also, last thing I'll bring up about the diner, when Plasma actually was posing as Virgil. I didn't hear this the first time, but I was listening to the show a lot louder this morning to make sure I didn't miss any cues. When he's walking up posing as Virgil, I heard a music cue. And they're actually playing their rendition of "Bury the Light" that we heard at the end of the series, and it's like, let's just say I got really giddy here because I love that song. But they started playing it as he was walking. It was almost like to tease us that early on in the series. So, like I'm saying, this show does really cool things. It's just I wish they
Yeah.
would have toned down a little bit on the overly political stuff. But then again, he's the creator. He wanted to tell the story when how he wanted to. So it's like, okay, yeah, I'm fine with it. It's his vision. It's what he wanted to do. Capcom said he can do it. They okayed it. So it is what it is. So yeah.
So yeah, again, we talked about a little bit about the past of the Rat Rabbit. That's a little bit of the segment from that, where he gets through the portal there and goes and it basically what ends up happening is he's befriends these friendly demons, if you want to call them that, and eventually when he gets back over to our world, like that's when he actually runs into Mary at a younger age at that point, but she's still a soldier. And just as they're kind of like trying to make progress, like, hey, yeah, these aren't bad people or bad creatures. We get one of these big demons that comes up and raids them. And of course, that just sets off this chaotic scene where they're killing the big one, but they're killing these little kid demons and stuff too. So again, it's kind of going at the heartstrings of everything that we're trying to listen to in the media these days. But I still like the story of the White Rabbit. It's a cool character, kind of fun to watch. And then of course we get as he got his real form there. You can see the amulet around his neck, and then of course he actually ends up turning to a demon towards the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that kind of accurate with him in terms of like him transforming and all that? Is that still somewhat accurate? No.
No, that's another thing about the show. Devil May Cry is more about spells and incantations and artifacts,
Hmm.
where that's more of like a Resident Evil thing. The doohickey on his chest and feeding on fresh DNA and mutating and shit like that. Yeah, that's something you'd see in Resident Evil. And
They do make a reference in there. Remember
yeah,
when he says Raccoon City?
yeah, which I like that. That was cool. I'm not gonna lie, I like
I
that.
did like the I think it was a Street Fighter thing too. The Street Fighter game,
Yep.
after he punches somebody, he racks right into the game itself, which was really nice too.
Mm-hmm. Which yeah, but yeah. I mean, the form is cool. I like it. It's just it was more like a. I wish he like he got to that form in a different way. Like
Yeah.
he pulled out something like a book or something, or he had something and he did it in a different way. Like
Yeah, he actually grabbed another demon. So I forget the name of the one that he grabbed that was left over from his posse, but
yeah, he's like, "Oh,
that
you're still alive." He like
yeah,
ate him, and like,
yeah, it's like you're gonna come in handy. I've only ever played and bet Devil May Cry 3, but it was a good game. See, I've only played the first one, so Goji's the only one who's played them all.
the third one is one of the best ones. So yeah, Tony, you beat one of the best ones. So, and from my understand, I haven't turned on my system in a while, but apparently the fucking what are they called? The games are on big sale. So if you want to get them, now's the time to get them because they're going along with the Netflix release. So yeah,
Are they on Steam, you said, or no?
I think they're on Steam as well. I think they're 75% off if the sale is still going on. If you're interested.
I might look at it. I haven't played them in a long time, but like I said, I still love that. How was the remastered? You said it was all right, or not worth it?
Not the remake is a fine game.
Is it a remake of the first one? Is that the remake of it?
They remade it was like it was like a remake of no, it's like a remake. It's like a very full remake. They completely different version, different Dante, different Virgil. Lady's not in it. It's some other girl with squirrel piss. There's an enemy that you actually literally you have to stop her from making slurm. Mundus is a guy who controls people through taxes. Seriously, it's fucking weird. It's just fun to play. That's the only thing I can say good about it. But I say Devil May Cry 5 is the best. It's the funnest to play, but I think story wise and theme wise, the third one's the best one.
Okay, so I might try that one then. See how that goes. So, what did you think of Virgil's other look when he was in the dark side? Basically,
confusing as all hell. Because in the first game, Nilo Angelo he was transformed into that by Mundus. In Devil May Cry 3, you get that ending by defeating 100 enemies during the credits. You see Mundus do that to when Virgil wants to fight Mundus, just like Sparta fought Mundus, kind of like carrying on with a torch, pretty much. Mundus just kicks his ass, and then it's implied off screen that he turns him into that. Where in this, you see his face and everything. Where in the game, it's like a helmet that he's wearing. He doesn't have any facial features until much later in the game where it takes off. He still doesn't really have any facial features. So it's like, that's a weird ass look for Nilo Angelo. It's like, what the hell is this? Or at the end of the series, you see this, but he's moving like he's in his devil trigger. And then for some reason, the entire thing just fades away, and he's like, "Oh, Mundus did this for me," but it just evaporates away, like he didn't do it for him. And then it's weird. It's odd. It's like a mixture between Nilo Angelo and his Devil Trigger. I think it's fine. It's a fine design. Not the best. It's fine. I give like a B plus. I'd say it's all right.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because, like I said, it's been a very, very long time since I played that first game. Did he have a transformation in that one?
No, he was just Nilo Angelo, and then you
Okay.
fight him the first time. He gets scared off because he sees the amulet, and then you fight him again, and then he scares off again. Then you fight him a third time, and then he takes the helmet off, and then he has like the same face as Dante, and then you say, "Oh, his name is Virgil. Oh, you just beat Virgil, yay!" And then that's that pretty much. So
That's that. Yeah, so just saw a little bit of clips from the show.
That's cool.
So yeah, like when did Dante actually get that devil trigger? Like when did that actually happen in the game?
In the third game, yeah,
Oh, it started in the third game.
yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Now, was this something that the games were kind of building up to at that point?
Well, the third game is the subtitle for that is Dante's Awakening, where
Mm-hmm.
that's his where he gets his devil trigger. The first game, you don't start off with the devil trigger. You get it after you're stabbed through the chest with the sword Alistair. And then it's funny, you start off with Force Edge in that game, but it's not powerful at all. But then you get Alistair, and then it's a lightning sword, which your devil trigger activates, but then you have like a lightning devil trigger. And then the
Yeah.
second game, you already have your devil trigger, so it's like that shows us later in the timeline. That form looks like it's like a mixture between Devil May Cry 3 and Devil May Cry 4, which that's an I like that design, but it's not my favorite.
Yeah.
I'd say Devil May Cry 4 is my favorite overall design, except for maybe Devil Trigger Sin from Devil May Cry 5.
Now I don't know. You sent me this image, but I don't know if it was supposed to be in this or not. Maybe you can explain whether or not it was part of this.
Oh, that is Ahab and a human versus an engineer from Predator Blood and Stone.
Okay, so it's not part of Devil May Cry because I thought it looks like a predator. Like,
No, that's from something completely different.
well, yeah, they all have them, man. Let me tell you.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
You
What
should
can
have
I
seen it
say?
for that legend stream, man. They were really going at it, boy.
What can I say? What can I say? Come on, boy.
Why can't this guy show up in this series? You know, this guy would be kind of cool.
Actually, there is a boss named Beowulf that it's about 20 feet tall, and when you defeat him, you actually get punching and kicking gauntlets, and it's like a giant wolf-like creature. That's not really like Anubis, but it's close enough.
Yeah, very similar to it. Yeah. So overall, how do you feel about season one, and like, what are your final thoughts, and what would you put it rating wise for season one for yourself?
I like it. I would give it A minus because I'm gonna rate it in like I'm gonna rate a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
It starts to lift up. It starts to go off because of the whole starts with the political stuff, and then Dante starts to do his thing. I like it, and it shows the monsters. A little more political stuff starts to and then lifts off more Dante being a goofball, and then we
Mm-hmm.
start to get more of the world building, which is cool. And also, shout out to Kevin Conroy. You know, he did an amazing job as a vice president of Baines. He was awesome. Also, lady swearing a lot. I did not care. I thought it was hilarious. Okay, I don't give a shit. She swore all the time. I swear all the shitty time. Okay, seriously, let her swear all the time. She's speaking and swearing all the time. I don't care.
I thought it was funny.
The only thing I didn't like about Lady in the show is some of the tech they gave her, like the rocket boots. Like, come on, the rocket boots,
Right.
like fucking rocket boots.
That was the other thing too. Like the special weapon that was in the suitcase. Like, it was kind of cool, but at the same time, like, I kind of want something a little more fancier than that. It was like
You didn't like
basically a
Kalina
blade.
Ant?
No,
Oh,
well, I mean, it was all right, but I didn't. I expected something far more like exuberant or shiny than
that was
that.
about to say that was right out of the game. Like, really?
I mean, it's kind of cool because it does remind me of a gunblade from like Final Fantasy, but it's pretty interesting. But I don't know. I guess I was just as much as they were kind of like working up to it. I'm like, yeah, it could have been a little better.
Yes, Tony. This was Kevin's last speaking role before he passed away. Yes.
Yeah, and they said, did he pass away in 2022 though? Has it been that long since they were putting this together?
Yes, yeah, they announced this a long time ago. Yeah, it took a while for this to be completed, but yes, this is his last. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, but
That's too bad. Yeah, he did a good job. Really good job.
but the plane sequence where he unlocks his devil trigger for the first time, that was badass. I think they made Agni and Rudra a little too stupid in the show. They were a little smarter in the game. Um, what else? Just some final things. The fight sequences were awesome. People are saying they were really boring. I don't see the boringness to it. I didn't care for the White Rabbit's monster form. I didn't care for that. Then again, Devil May Cry has a tendency of taking awesome characters. Oh, yes, this reminded me. Mary Arkham's father in Devil May Cry 3, he was a very interesting character. He's the one that helped Virgil summon the Temenagru, which is this massive tower that actually went from the human world and then burrowed all the way to the demon world. And there was a special book that he actually carried with him everywhere he went. And he actually shared it with Virgil. And he actually taught him how to, read this book and actually knew where this library was and this book. And he was a very smart man. In this, again, they went with the whole scientific route, DNA splicing and bullshit and all that other crap. It's science, science, science. No, 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 no. Demons, books, artifacts, all that. That's the way you go with Devil May Cry. Okay, as soon as you start talking science and shit, like, no, that's science. It's like introducing, it'd be like if you want to resurrect zombies in Resident Evil, you start speaking from like a freaking like the Bible or something. You don't do that, okay? You don't. It just you go in certain ways, okay?
Yeah.
It's just goofy to do like reciting science and like just no. And when they took Dante's amulet and then they're trying to like examine it and like try to the quantum field is doing a thing. It's like no, stop with the quantum fields and bullshit like that. No, all right, I'm already letting it go with all like the technology and shit like that. Just stop with the science bullshit. Just stop. Okay. Lastly, I love the ending where Virgil does show up and, they start doing the Bury the Light stuff. It's not the original song. Okay. Let it go. You can't pay for some. The new voice actors for this show as well. I don't know why they changed them. People are saying different reasons. They're saying that Johnny Young Bosch sounds more like a young Dante now rather than the original voice actor for Dante. I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now, but that's a good idea. But others are saying other reasons he got replaced. I don't know why, but there's that. The song Devil Trigger, when Dante becomes Devil Trigger for the first time in midair, that's Nero's song. But again, that's splitting hairs. So you just got to let stuff like that go. Overall, I would give this show like an A minus, I would say. High, but could use a little improvement, I'd say. But no, I did enjoy the show.
Yeah. I did enjoy, like I said, it does have the obvious things that they're trying to insert in there, but it doesn't, like you said, it is like a roller coaster. Like it goes up. Once they start kind of diving into that stuff, you're like, you're just kind of like this, oh God, here we go. But then it kind of kicks itself out of there and gets back to the main storyline of Dante and the demon fighting and stuff like that. The demon fighting the fighting sequences aren't as quite as impressive to me as like Castlevania, but still nice enough with the game. And, obviously it could get better. So, I mean, it looks like they may end up doing a second season, hopefully, because they're leading up to that. But
it's announced. Season 2 has been announced.
So I'm kind of like right there with you. I mean, I do more of a 1 through 10 scale, but I'm at a 9, so that's like an A- in my book. So I'm right there with you. So it has its little faults and flaws, but overall, I enjoyed it enough to like it. Yeah, it is what it is. Well, thank you, sir, for joining me doing this. This was a lot of fun. I love your knowledge on this. That's always fun to have.
Thank you.
There's always, if I ever have stuff that I need to get somebody that knows their shit, this guy is it. He knows his shit, even in Godzilla and everything else. So I appreciate his time and effort to come in here and talk shop with me with this. It's really a lot of fun. You have anything coming up? I know you're kind of just working right now, but
I just bought the Ichibanzo Odozilla or Godzillasaurus from Godzilla -1. Oh, thank you so much, DJ Neko. She's awesome, by the way.
She is.
Okay.
I don't know her, but yeah, she's cool.
Yeah. I have several pre-orders in, but those aren't coming out for several months. Yeah, other than that, I'm just working and seeing what happens. How about you, brother? What you got?
Next week, Tuesday, Mr. Tony the Dead and I will be doing both our Ghouls of Midnight episodes. I'm going to be doing The People Under the Stairs, and then he's going to be doing Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, which will have Anthony Jordan join us for that, the guest on that one there. Come next Thursday, me and Edgar Allan Poe are doing Poetic Carnage, a pre-NFL look at what's coming up for the draft, what's happening on the 24th. So we'll be doing another episode for the live draft that we usually do every year for the NFL. So for those that are in the sports and stuff like that, if you want to come hang out, we're doing a live draft for round 1 on that night on the 24th. The 18th, Friday, Jedi Granville is doing an episode of a review for 1986, I think, The Hitcher, with Rutger Hauer and Thomas E. Howell. So I'll be there with a couple other people reviewing that. Then Vintage Cult Cinema returns with Ulvin as we do Wolfen from 1981. And outside of that, not really sure yet. I haven't really filled up the schedule yet, but that's pretty much what I got going on right now.
Nice.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, there's Neko. She's going to try to pick Detroit again. Anyhow, thank you, sir, for joining me. It's been a lot of fun. For the rest of you, please go to his website or his YouTube channel, like and subscribe to the Metal Time Radio podcast. Give us your thoughts on Devil May Cry. Keep it civil, but if you disagree with us, that's fine. Let us know your points about it, or if you agree with us. Do you think we scored it too high, too low? Let us know. We have no problem talking with people about entertainment. That's what we like to do here. So thanks you much, and we'll see you next time on the Metal Time Radio podcast.
You see me for